Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is April, and in this video I wanted to share how I turned my passion into my full-time job, which is making videos on YouTube. These are just some things that worked for me, and they may or may not work for you, but I hope you guys learned something new, and let's get started. If you guys see me blinking a lot, it's because I have two big lights right here and they're blinding. I took down a lot of notes so I don't miss out on anything I wanted to talk to you guys about, so I apologize if I'm referring to the screen a lot. Number one is that I pursued something I was passionate about, which was fashion design, instead of trying to get better at something I didn't care about. One of my favorite quotes says, "The things you're passionate about are not random, they are your calling." No one ever tells us that what you're good at is probably what you should be pursuing, and luckily for me, someone did eventually tell me, and that was my high school fashion teacher, Miss Miller. Even though I was obsessed with fashion basically my whole life, and throughout high school all I cared about was sewing, by the time I was graduating I was still so confused on what I should be pursuing. And the reason why I was so confused is because growing up my parents only talked about jobs in the medical field or business or insurance, jobs that they were familiar with, so I thought those were the only options for me. It wasn't until Miss Miller sat me down and opened my eyes to the idea that fashion design could be a real career and that I would be wasting my talent if I didn't pursue it. Along with fashion design, another thing I was passionate for was taking pictures and making home videos. I was always that person in the family walking around with the camera, taking pictures and videos of people, and then I would edit them and upload them onto YouTube. And those are actually my first videos before I started posting fashion tutorials. I would post home videos of my family, which is why when I decided to start my fashion YouTube channel, it was really easy because I already enjoyed everything about it, from the sewing and design to the filming and the editing. Number two, I had a mentor. I cannot stress how important it is to have a mentor and how it has changed my life. If I didn't have Miss Miller there guiding me down the right path, I probably would have just done something that my parents suggested and regretted it later. I really owe it to her because she saw something in myself from day one of being in her classroom that I didn't even see in myself yet until I was about to graduate high school, and to this day she's still my biggest supporter and I can always go to her for advice. A mentor can be anyone you know or look up to, and they're there to encourage you and help you grow, especially when you're still in high school because you think you know everything. So having a mentor is super important because they can give you a different perspective and share their experiences, which will really help shape who you become. I wanted to share another quote that I chose for my senior yearbook photo, and it goes, "Nothing of me is original. I am the combined effort of everyone I've ever known." I was actually really blessed to have a lot of mentors in my life. Besides Miss Miller, I had amazing aunt and uncles who stay up all night with me, my sisters and my cousin, to just talk to us and give us their perspective on life. Number three is that I used what I had at home already instead of buying something new. Even though I was a high school student and I couldn't afford to buy new things anyways, having a limited supply of something really forces you to think outside of the box and really be creative. When I first started transforming clothes, I was in high school, and since my style was always changing and my mom was not gonna buy me new clothes all the time, I had to be creative and find ways to change up my wardrobe at home. This meant cutting up school t-shirts, coming up with one sweater, 16 ways to wear it. Thumbs up if you guys have seen this super old video on my channel. And this meant that I was always borrowing clothes from my sisters and my mom, which really annoyed them, but I was able to mix and match a bunch of new outfits to wear to school every week. Another example of using what I had instead of buying something new was when I wanted to start my fashion YouTube channel and I didn't have a camera or tripod. All I had at home at the moment was my dad's laptop. He had one just like this. It was really big, one of the very first MacBooks, and I would, since it has a webcam on it, I would set the laptop at the very edge of the table and angle it down so that it can shoot the floor, and that's where I would film my tutorials. Or I would even stack it on top of some boxes so that I can angle it down and shoot on the table. It wasn't until I won $1,000 from a contest called project style that I invested in my very first camera and tripod so I can produce better quality content. Number 4 is to stop making excuses. So often we limit ourselves by saying that I have no time, I have no money, I have no camera. And for me, it was not being able to go to my dream school, which was FIDM. When my parents told me that I wasn't going to be attending FIDM, I was so sad because this was my dream school and I felt like if I wasn't attending this big name school, then I wasn't going to make it anywhere in fashion. I ended up attending a community college called Palomar College, which I love, but at the time I didn't take it seriously because it was just community college, and going into college with that kind of mindset really already set me up for failure. So how did I get over this horrible feeling? Well, there was nothing I could do but to just keep moving forward. And even if I wasn't enjoying it, I knew it was something I just had to get over. Another thing no one ever tells you is that pursuing something you love is not always going to be fun. It's actually really challenging and will make you want to quit at times. But once you stop making excuses for what you can't do and instead you just do it, you'll eventually start finding the fun in it again. Which brings me to point number 5, finding the fun in what you are pursuing. I had it easy when I first learned how to sew back in high school because I had someone like Miss Miller as my teacher, but as I moved on to college, the classes were a lot more serious. There were deadlines and step-by-step instructions to follow, which really took away the fun for me. It sounds kind of crazy, but it made me not like sewing so much to the point where I questioned if fashion design was something I even wanted to do. I went back to talk to Miss Miller and told her that I didn't think fashion design was right for me, and I was back at square one being confused. Once again, she gave me different points of views and let me know that it's okay to enjoy one aspect of fashion and hate the other part. You might like designing but hate the sewing, and that's okay. You don't have to toss all your dreams away. Thankfully, I had my YouTube channel on the side, which helped me find the fun in everything again. When I learned something new in school, I would apply those techniques to my sewing videos, and that allowed me to teach you guys how to do it too. Number 6 is that I put in the hours. I heard somewhere before that it takes 10 years to become an expert at something. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be exactly 10 years, but the amount of hours that you're dedicating towards your craft in those 10 years to become better. I made it a goal of mine to accomplish a new video every week to put it up on my YouTube channel, not only because it was my job, but more importantly because it was my way of practicing sewing and designing and getting better at my craft. I know so many of us start projects and we never finish it because we hit a roadblock, but if you just push through and finish your project even though you don't like it, you will be that much closer to finding what works and what doesn't work for you. If you're in high school or middle school and you're watching this video, I encourage you guys to start practicing what you're good at now. That's one of my biggest regrets, is not starting earlier. Don't wait until you have the right supplies. Don't wait until you go to college to learn it, because there's a thing called the internet and YouTube, and it's amazing the amount of information you can learn on there for free, like my videos. Number 7 is that I always believe in myself and my ideas. I know it sounds corny, but you really do have to believe. This is something I heard all my life like you guys, but I never really understood it until I experienced it for myself. When I look back on where I started with fashion, from putting together crazy outfits to having the courage to just wear something I made out in public, it just made me realize how much I truly believed in myself and the things that I made. I didn't care that people thought I dressed weird, which a lot of people did, because in my head I was convinced that I looked cool. And the same thing goes for my YouTube channel. I put out videos every week, and even though some of you don't like it, I really believed in it, which is why I decided to put it up in the first place, and I'm just proud that I even made something. Number 8, I put myself out there. You could be the most talented person in the world and no one will ever know because you keep that all to yourself. I like to believe that if you put something out in the world enough times, one day you will eventually receive it back. And I also like to look at it like a raffle. The more tickets that you are putting in it, the higher chance of you succeeding. Number 9, have have something that motivates you. One of my biggest motivations back in high school were my parents, and not because I felt like they supported me, but the opposite. Because I never felt good enough for them, I forced myself to work really hard to get to where I am today, to show them that I can do it. Basically, I like to take negative things that people say to me and reverse it and use that as a motivation to prove them wrong. Thank you all so much for watching and continuing to support me. I make these videos for free because I enjoy it, and I hope that it can help you out. If you want to support my journey even further, then subscribe to our email listing down in the description box. We are working on some exciting things in the future, and by signing up, you can be the first to know. Alright, that's all I can think of for now. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel. Follow me on Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!